Hello, welcome back to the Villa View. It's time for a match preview for Villa's game against Spurs on Sunday at Villa Park.
Where are we right now? After the winter break, where are Villa as a side? Going against Spurs, tough game.
I mean, it's a bad end to the pre-winter break in the fact that Spurs have obviously beaten Man City at home 2-0.
Yeah.
I felt like they were a bit ropey leading up to that game, and then we've lost to Bournemouth as well in what was a poor defeat, I would say. So you suddenly feel like going into that game, Tottenham will have got a bit of buoyancy about them. They'd have been lifted, and we're perhaps a little bit down in the dumps about the Bournemouth defeat. The good thing is that I think the cup final will add to general good feeling and will make us have a good feeling generally around the place. I think the atmosphere at Villa Park will be up.
I think we thought that though for the Bournemouth game. No, we thought that was going to be
home. No, is it? I think the home games now, the atmosphere will be rocking because we've got a cup final on the horizon, and it's the kind of game Villa need to win because we haven't picked up any results against the big boys, any results that you wouldn't expect. So the last time we were at Villa Park, we beat Leicester, which I think you would say has been, although it's not in the league, you would have said that was an unexpected result and a big scalp. So hopefully Villa can carry on that mentality rather than the Bournemouth mentality.
What do you make of the Mourinho Spurs side so far? It's been a bit of a Jekyll and Hyde year since he's taken over. You know, we've seen some really dominant performances by them, and obviously a 2-0 win against Manchester City is fantastic. But we've also seen a bit of a kind of a bit of a laboured side of Spurs as well.
I think that they were having those kind of performances under Pochettino as well, so I don't think that's a Mourinho thing. I think he got a tune out of them when he first came in. Sometimes when a different voice comes in the short term it can help, but then they've kind of reverted back to type, to the kind of games that they were having under Pochettino as well. It's not his side at the moment, so he's done a bit of business in January. They've got a couple of players in, some well-known players, but you wouldn't look at Tottenham and say that's a typical Jose Mourinho side when you look at his sides that have been successful in the past. So I do think they'll be the ones that end up getting fourth. I think they're sixth at the moment, aren't they, Spurs?
Yeah.
I actually think they'll end up gazumping Chelsea.
Do you?
Come the end of the season. Yeah, I've just got a feeling. I actually think they'll go quite far in the Champions League as well. The Champions League is kind of Mourinho's baby, isn't it? So it could be the start of a good run for Spurs now, but obviously Villa need it to not be. We need to stop them in the tracks, and we need to start picking up a result against a side like Spurs.
Yeah, because I mean, for Villa, opposite end of the table, and you know, only 1 point separates us from 19th at the moment, but then it's not too far away to get up and climb up and meet where Palace are. You know,
we need to drag teams like that in there.
Exactly, and these are the games, these home games in particular, that are going to be so important.
Yeah, I mean, I think so far the games that there has been while Villa have been off, the results have been pretty good for us. Towards the end of the Bournemouth game as well, the results started to turn in our favour. At one point we were going to be in the bottom three, and we're not. We're still just skating a little bit above there, 1 point above West Ham. So if we'd have beat Bournemouth, we'd have only been 3 points off 10th at the time, which would have been massive. And as I say, it keeps the other teams involved. It drags teams like Newcastle, Palace, who you think perhaps were going to be safe. It drags them back down in there, and that's what we need to do. We need to win as many games as possible to keep in touch with those kind of teams, because it's no good. People were saying, "Oh, well, we're still not in the bottom three." I don't think that's the right mentality. I think you've got to be looking upwards and getting closer to the teams like Burnley, like Southampton, like Newcastle, and just trying to keep yourself away from trouble. Full stop.
I totally agree. You know, each week we say, "Oh yeah, we're not in the bottom three." Sure, but one win, and if that's in week 38, and that win comes, and
been there.
You know,
that's right.
So taking the points when they're so close is what we've got to do. And on the face of it, Spurs looks like a tough game. How do we beat Spurs?
It's a good question, Tom. It's not one I necessarily know the answer to. Be interesting to see what he does in midfield. I think Luiz and Nakamba have been good together in recent games, but then I thought they were both a little bit off. And the whole team was, to be fair, against Bournemouth. He's obviously got Drinkwater, who he kind of wants to play to get up to speed. I'm not sure whether this will be the game you see him back in there. I do think at some point we'll move away from three at the back to perhaps accommodate all three. And obviously you've got Harahan chomping at the bit to play as well. I don't think he's even got on in the last three games, which he won't be happy with. We're short on centre-backs as well. We don't know what Conce's injury situation is at the moment. I thought Engels was one of the plus points in the Bournemouth game. He came on and did well. I don't think we'll move away from three at the back in this game.
Yeah.
But I do think it's something that he will look to do in the future. But we've just got to do what we did against Leicester, basically. When there's pressure, deal with it. Keeper's going to have to be on top form. But we look dangerous on the break. in that game. At the moment, the simple thing to say is just get Jack on the ball as much as possible.
Yeah, he's the one,
isn't
he?
Simplistic way of looking at it, but that's what we need.
Yeah, he's been. I mean, it's not a hot take to say, but
he's a decent player, isn't he?
He's been okay, hasn't he?
And far that lad.
he continues to get linked with Manchester United and the like.
That's what a joke. So stupid, the press. I mean, I actually think that one day he will go to Manchester United, but the fact that they're saying at the moment it's all a done deal. It's not a done deal.
Mm-hmm. And so around him, though, who are you expecting to start on the wings? Do you think El Ghazi still keeps his starting place?
I think it might be Trezeguet's turn.
Okay.
It does kind of feel like we take it in turns with Trezeguet and El Ghazi, but then both of them look better coming off the bench.
The winter break kind of throws that into anarchy, doesn't it? Because it's going to be an interesting one. I really like El Ghazi, and I feel like he has been quiet for the last couple of games, but it takes those couple of games before he goes on a run and becomes really influential. We've seen it last season, and we've seen it earlier this season as well. I kind of hope that El Ghazi keeps the shirt.
The bits I've seen of Spurs, it might change under Mourinho, because to be fair, I've seen them more under Pochettino than I have done under Mourinho, but I felt like they were easy to get in behind, or that was the way to hurt them. So Samatta obviously gives us that angle that we didn't have before, with a striker that's a willing runner and that will make runs in behind defences, and that's how he likes to receive the ball. So he might actually help Jack, because the threat of him running in behind might push Spurs further back, and then that gives Jack space as well. As much as I've said how much I rate Mourinho and stuff, and it's not his team, I don't think it's the Spurs team of the last few years. They will have lost games to opposition you wouldn't have expected them to this season. So I would say it's as good a chance as Villa have at taking a scalp this season.
How different do you think the Villa team is to the one that started the season and was obviously 1-0 up against Villa and then just ran out of energy?
Feels like quite a different side actually, because a lot of the players that had played more in the Championship started that first game. If you look back at it, the two fullbacks, for example, it was Elmo and Taylor that day. At that point it was Engels and Mings at centre-back, Heaton's now injured. Connor, McGinn and Grealish was the central midfield, and that was very much the midfield that we played in the Championship. And then we played Trezeguet and El Ghazi as the wingers and Wesley up front. So it's completely different. The makeup of the side is completely different to what it was back then. That feels a long time ago now. That first game of the season, doesn't it?
It does. And Smith's had his chance now to kind of bed these players in. Obviously, everyone was almost brand new to the Premier League at that stage, and most of these players now have a little bit more experience of playing in the Premier League. We were not fit enough for Spurs again. Just purely on a kind of athletic level, we're ready to take them on way more than we were in August. Yeah,
and little partnerships starting to build that perhaps weren't there on that first game of the season. If you look down the left-hand side, one of the reasons I thought we were so good against Leicester was Targett and Jack down the left, because they did link up really, really, really well, and they were a constant threat. Targett's getting back to the kind of player I thought he was going to be, and I think the formation change has done absolute wonders for him. We just got to cut out errors. Silly individual errors of what led to a lot of goals that we've conceded. You're always going to concede goals, especially as a newly promoted side. Not Sheffield United, obviously, because they've completely rewritten all rules of newly promoted sides. But you're going to concede goals, but the level of goals we've conceded from a mistakes point of view has been really, really disappointing, and that's my main disappointment this season, is that we've chucked games with too many individual errors. You're going to get the odd few, obviously, but there's been too many from a Villa point of view, and Dean Smith will have been tearing his hair out at times.
Yeah, at the other end of the pitch, Samatta has now played a couple of games for Villa. He's had a couple more weeks of training over the winter break, and I suppose he hasn't trained that much actually.
He's been doing some work behind the scenes. He's been posting it on his socials.
I've seen a lot of him being at various locations in Birmingham, curry houses and Sainsbury's and all sorts.
Great to see him at my favourite curry house, the Cabba Beach.
Oh, I've been.
The Leicester game. Yeah, you've been to the Cabba Beach, haven't you? Nice little plug for them. Best curry house in Birmingham, Cabba Beach in Sutton Coldfield.
It was very enjoyable. How important is he going to be? Obviously grabbing the goals, but being a live wire, getting in amongst them.
The worrying thing is, he's got the monkey off his back with the goal early on, so we haven't got to worry about that. There's just so much pressure on him, like Wesley, because Keenan's suddenly injured again. And the annoying thing is, I think Keenan's done well off the bench the last couple of games, but he just can't stay fit. He's a walking injury, and that's really, really disappointing. And it's ruined his last couple of seasons. Keenan, really. I mean, we haven't even spoke about him on the Villa View at any point, I think, but we've obviously got Borja Baston will probably step up to the bench now, but there's still just an awful lot of pressure on Samatta to be the goal scorer, to be the one to lead the line. He's got to stay fit But just having something different, I think that's what we lacked even when Wesley was up there.
100%.
Just the option to go something different and have someone who's a willing runner in behind. Samatta will do that, but he's got to stay fit now. And we need him in the goals because it feels like Jack's been the only one scoring really in the league in recent times.
Yeah, it does, and I've already seen a lot of Samatta that I like in these 2 games already, and the way that he picks the ball up and looks for other players. He obviously got very close to scoring in his debut as well, where he just he should have scored.
Some good positions,
and he should have scored. But yeah, exactly. If he can just get that little bit of sharpness and that 1% and that goal goes in, so he like you say, he really is key, and staying fit is important. We don't know anything about Baston really, apart from the fact that he started well for Swansea and for one reason or another has fallen by the wayside.
I mean, we need that to just be one of those freak signings that for some reason works out. Yeah, just needs to come from nowhere and do a job for us, and maybe just grab a couple of goals between now and the end of the season that will turn out to be important. I do think Sunday is a winnable game. I think it's the best chance we've had against top opposition so far this season. The fact that it's at Villa Park as well. I think Jack on the left, if he's on his game, if him and Target are linking up, I think Aurier can be a bit suspect at right back. He's a bit rash, isn't he? So I think that could be something that we could potentially target and look at. I mean, how many fouls does Jack buy? How many times does Jack get fouled? He's coming up against one of the clumsiest fullbacks in the Premier League. I think that's something Villa have got to take advantage of.
Definitely.
So there's positives there for sure. I'm just annoyed that we lost that game before the international break, because I do feel there'd be a real buzz now if it wasn't for that.
Yeah.
I still think the atmosphere will be up, but it's annoying that we lost that game, and it's such a crucial game as well.
Yeah, definitely. Any surprises you see in Villa's starting lineup?
Not really. I think it'll be pretty much the same team that it was against Bournemouth, except for Engels might come in for Konsa.
Yeah.
Konsa's not fit.
Yeah.
Engels, there's an argument for him to come in anyway for either Konsa or Hawes, because I thought he looked good when he came on.
Yeah, we talked about Danny Drinkwater just briefly. He was kind of out with injury. Is he? Do we know where he is?
I think he's fit.
So he's up for contention.
Yeah, but I'd be shocked if he broke up Louise and Nakamba.
Yeah, fair enough. All right, then, let's get a score prediction from you. What are you thinking?
I'm going to go 2-1 Villa. I'm going to go brave.
You don't look convinced by that.
I mean, any score I say I don't look convinced of, but I'm just going to go for 2-1, because at some point we do have to beat a team like that in the league, and I do think it's the best chance we'll have. What about you?
I'm going to go 1-1.
Draws are no good, Tom.
No, listen.
Wins are what we need.
If you wanted me to say what I want to happen.
Yeah, I know that.
But Spurs are a good team.
Winning's the currency we need.
Yeah, for sure. I feel like... I just feel like it's going to be a draw, because you're right, we do need to win, and I just don't see where that's coming from. Kind of feel like a draw is optimistic, which...
We don't get many draws.
Yeah.
We're drawing the least in the league. Yep. 4, joint least.
With Burnley.
Not many draws.
Oh no, Manchester City 3.
Oh, okay. I mean, I don't even look up there, Tom, to be honest. I don't look that high at the table.
Liverpool have drawn 1.
Okay, well, yeah, we just don't... We discount Liverpool from everything.
Yeah.
Should we start again? Because I made a mistake like we did earlier.
Oh, all right, mate. Don't ruin it. So you're going for a 2-1 win. Who's your first goal scorer?
It's a McGinn then, which would be absolutely ridiculous. First goal scorer will be... It's going to be a Spurs player. It's going to be...
New signing Stephen Bergwijn.
No, because I can't say his name. So I'm not going to go with him. Go with Dele Alli.
Dele Alli. I'm going to go...
We're going to win 2-1 there.
Nice. Well, that's a nice comeback, that.
Yeah, Samatta's going to score. And Tyrone Mings is going to score the winner.
Very nice.
A header. We're on the rampage with headers now, after Samatta's header against Bournemouth.
It's all coming in. I'm going to go for a Jack Grealish goal for Villa. 1-0 up, and then they'll peg us back late on.
That's the spirit, Tom.
Yeah, exactly. It sounds about right, doesn't it?
I mean, if he's going to sound about right, that's scored 2 in the last 5 minutes.
That's true. It's very true. All right, that's enough from the preview, I think. There will be fan cams after the game with yourself and Liam.
At this stage, it's probably just Liam, let's face it.
Yeah.
I let Liam get on with it.
Yeah, you just run away.
It's a good experience for the lad.
No, totally. There will be a podcast next week as well. We'll dissect whatever happened in this game.
Yeah.
And Yeah?
Yeah, we're going to say what was in the podcast, touch on anything that we said in the podcast.
And if you don't listen to the podcast...
I mean, I'd be shocked if there's anyone that watches match previews and doesn't listen to the podcast. That doesn't seem right.
If you don't watch the podcast, we have announced that we are going to be stopping the Villa View after the League Cup final. Go back and watch the podcast if you'd like to know more about that, the reasons why. But we're also going to do a live show on Friday the 28th of February at Villa Park in the Directors' Lounge. Tickets are on sale on Friday. I'm not totally sure when this is going to be out.
We'll aim for Thursday for this to go out.
So 200 tickets. All of the information will be on various social media channels and whatnot. So we'll make sure you get that if you would like to come to that.
Hopefully someone wants to come.
Yeah, it's going to be a good celebration of hopefully. Hopefully the channel, but also the League Cup final, building up to that as well. Hopefully,
but the main thing is raising money for the foundation because we did that well last time.
Yeah, we're going to raise some money. Going to hopefully have some special guests, maybe some things to auction, give away, all that kind of stuff. So if you can be with us, that would be absolutely brilliant. All right, well that's it. Let's get a win on Sunday. Up the Villa.
Up the Villa.
If you enjoyed that video, why not watch another? Click the video choices on screen now to go and watch them in full. Be sure to subscribe to the channel by clicking our logo there on the left. Easy peasy.